Hi guys, I'm Mike and welcome to my second podcast here with Leo. So Leo.
Hello.
How you doing?
Yeah, all good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad, so
Yeah,
thanks.
good.
Can you tell me a little bit more about, mindset? I've been listening to a few of your podcasts and I noticed that you do a lot about mindset.
Yeah, I love it.
What's that about?
I literally love talking about mindset and developing the mind and helping people to get the best out of themselves 100%. It's something that, I got into it because people were, when I was looking online, there are videos out there that you can watch to motivate yourself. And that was got me into it because it was so powerful. You know how powerful words are? There are so many speeches in the world that everyone knows that have made a massive impact in the world. Words are incredibly powerful, and I felt that myself. I've gone through hard times in my life, as everyone has. And these kind of motivational talks, they really do work, and they really do boost kind of your mood, get you motivated, get you fired up. There are so many public speakers out there that I would love to say thank you to because they have literally changed my life 100%. The information that they give is phenomenal. And that's when I thought, wait, hold on, I can do this. I love to make people feel better. I can do this. I know so much about it now. I've been watching it for years and years and years and years that I kind of know. And what I do is I study every successful person in the world leaves a trail. Every single person leaves a trail of their successes and their failures. And what I do is I'm almost the reporter. What I do is I find out the information. I go out there, I interview people, I look at people's biographies, I look at their journey. And what I do is I pick up the successes and the failures, because I like to teach both, because then when people go to make their own successes, they don't need to make the failures and they can go to make the successes. And selfishly, I feel great doing it. There's nothing that makes me feel better about doing it, Sure. Just the other day, actually, it was incredible. I went into Sainsbury's to get some food, and I noticed that there was a homeless guy there. It was late at night. I knew there would be some reduced food in Sainsbury's, so right, I'm gonna go there, I'll have a quick look, I'll see what there is for him. So I got him some food, went out there, and I was like, hey, do you want this food? And he was like, funny enough, he said yes to something, and he said no to the other one. I was like, right, okay, fair enough, if you don't want it. This guy walks past and he says, can I have it? And I said, yeah, 100%, of course you can. So I give it to him and he says, what do you do? And I tell him what I do. And he says, are there any apprenticeships there? And I said, are you really into that? And he said, well, money's tight, not really. And I said, right. I was like, why would you want to do that? I said, tell me your skill. He started walking back to my house, he followed me, and I said, tell me your skill. And he was like, I'm good at languages. And I said, there's your power. He said, what do you mean? I asked him what language he spoke, and I can't remember what language it was now. I asked him what language he spoke, and I said, that's a superpower. And he said, well, what do you mean? And I was like, do you know how many people there are out in the world that want to learn that language? And he said, really? And I said, yeah. I said, that skill that you've got now, somebody else wants, Sure. and somebody else will pay for. Mm-hmm. You've got valuable experience within that language that somebody else wants. And he said, yeah, that's true. He was like, well, how can I go about doing that, like making money from it? And I said, hold a workshop. It's as simple as that. Time for money isn't valuable at all. Knowledge for money is where you want to go. If you want to have a successful life, you want to live comfortably, trading knowledge for money is way more successful than knowledge for money. So he was asking, how he can go about doing it. And I said, he's like, I've not got any money. And I said, okay, well, it's lucky that you're born in this era because you can create an advert on Facebook, target specific people within the world for £5. And he said, right, okay. So I said, right, volunteer at a place and don't get paid for it. He was like, right, okay. And I was like, when an opportunity comes to apply for a job, apply for the job. He said, yeah, okay. So save up £200. Right, okay. Said, with that £200, create marketing for yourself and rent out a place for the cheap. Advertise yourself for a certain day, rent that place out, advertise it, and hopefully, let's say 10 people turn up that want to learn that language that you're teaching. Right, okay. That 10 people, if you add value to their life, then people are then going to have word of mouth. They're going to spread it around. The next one that you hold, save up another £200, 20 people are going to turn up. You're charging people £50 for the month for a couple of sessions, let's say. You've now got a clientele, you've now got a foundation. These people are then going to spread word about you. So next time you're going to be 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, 100,000 people. You're going to have a massive client base. You can create a business out of that. And how did you start? By having a skill. You had your superpower. You held a workshop, 10 people came, and now you've got successes. He was literally mind blown away, but it's the successes of people that, I've not experienced that myself. It's the successes of other people that I learn, that I teach on to other people, and they love it. And my niche is within fitness, so I like to stick to the mind development, of successes, but I like to also focus within the fitness industry. That's just my niche. That's what I enjoy doing. So that's kind of, that's the foundation of why I do it and what it is.
That's interesting because, I've been through some dark times myself. And I always thought that I didn't have a skill or a purpose in life, really. And, I've often heard speakers say that everybody's good at something. And I was often thinking, well, what am I good at? I really don't know what it is that I'm good at. And all the time I've been training. And obviously, I realized that people were coming up to me and complimenting me on the way I looked. And then a light came on. Right, so there is something that I can do. Well, if people are coming up to me, then obviously I must be doing this well. So...
And here you are now.
Exactly.
You've got this podcast, and you're going to be delivering information to people that want to learn. There are thousands of people today who are starting in the fitness industry. You've got years of experience. People will pay for that experience, 100%. Now, it's not all about making money. I'm not saying to go after the money. Money is a byproduct of knowledge. You want to help people. If your goal is to help people, money will come with it. If you focus on money, your successes won't happen.
I totally agree.
And that's why we're doing this today. We're not making any money from this. We're just delivering information to people.
Exactly.
But hopefully what's going to happen is word of mouth will happen, and then it will spread. Because you've added value to somebody's life. You've not done this for money, you're adding value to someone's life. The money was just the byproduct of it. Now, you mentioned about how you've gone through dark times, right? I've been through dark times. I'm sure everyone has gone through dark times. But I'm so grateful for actually going through those hard times, because I know that it's those hard times that developed me as a person. I've lost people that I cared about, and because of that, I'm thinking, well, what have I done wrong? And I self-evaluate myself, and I look, what have I actually done wrong here? And I'm 100% honest with myself. There's no point, beating around the bush, saying, no, I'm actually not that bad. No, I was bad. And I've figured out the mistakes that I made, and here I am today, and I've developed them, and I'll never make them again, And because of those dark times, I'm 10 times the person that I was back then. And I'm sure you are as well now.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like you say, it's not about the money. When you really genuinely want to help people, you find that it just comes together. Because, I like to help people with knowledge through the experience that I've learned myself. And I find that once you help one person, that person tells somebody else. And then before you know it, I've got somebody from Ontario, regularly messaging me, asking me for advice on certain diet plans and stuff. And it just feels good to be able to, give somebody some knowledge, and when they appreciate it as well. It's just a great feeling. And like you say, it's not for monetary purposes, but obviously it's something that can make I can make a career of in the future.
Definitely.
I do totally agree with that.
In terms of kind of actually giving advice, it's funny because the guy that I was actually on about earlier, the guy who I met whilst I was giving food, he said, what's your Instagram, what's your email, what's your phone number? I give it to him all. And I said, you can reach out to me whenever you want. He said, 100%. I gave him loads of videos to watch. I told him about my podcast, and I said, listen to it all and come back to me. And he was like, right, okay. And, this only happened the other day, so I'm still waiting for him to get back to me. But if he does get back to me and he wants my help, I'm not going to ask him for money, because I know that he's short of that. However, money is, if you ask for money, it's not the money that you're getting, but it's actually the appreciation. They need to, I've given out free diet plans before. When I started years ago, I was like, right, I really want to get into, online coaching and stuff. I'm going to give out free diet plans. I give out free diet plans. They never follow it because it was free. They didn't appreciate it. They knew I was giving out a free diet plan. I'll take it. So if that guy comes to me and he wants my help, happily give it to him. But I will ask him to do something for me. In return for that, not selfishly. It could be anything. Wash my car or something like that once a week. But that's not because I need my car washing. That's because if he does that, I know that he values the information and he wants the information. He's not just looking for free information. If he really cares, he will wash that car once a day if he really wanted it that bad. So I think when it comes to giving information, it's down to that person and how bad they really want it.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I've done exactly the same thing. I've given out advice on diet plans, and all I've said to the person, it's about them valuing it, like you say.
100%.
So all I've said to them is, look, I don't want any money, but just hit me up on Instagram. Just give me a like on YouTube.
Yeah,
That's it.
something. I
Just
mean,
give me
that's
something
tiny.
back. Yeah,
That's
it's
tiny.
very minute. Exactly.
Oh God, yeah. Like the amount you actually need to invest in yourself to have a successful life. A like on Instagram is nothing.
Sure, of course.
And nothing. If they can't do that,
Yeah. Then they've got no value in what it is that I'm giving out. Then
why bother?
Yeah, exactly.
Why bother? But yeah, so that's kind of the summary of what I do in mindset, and that's why I do love it, and I'm going to continue to do it, and I hope that my business grows. It's definitely grow. If I look at where I was last year to how I am now, I'm always moving forward. I'm always trying to progress, and I really hope that people see that, and then they know that they can come to me for me to help them to create a successful and fulfilled life. And it's not all about just money and having a great job. It's not about that. Like in a recent episode of my podcast, I talked about the 6 fundamentals of happiness. And none of those things was having money. None of those things. There was just things like stability, security, love, being able to give
Simple
love,
things in life.
moving forward.
Yeah.
And the 2 things that you can do to achieve all 6 fundamentals is 1, the science of achievement. The science of achievement, the reason I say science of achievement is because achieving things is a skill.
Sure.
110%. People don't achieve things because out of luck. There is a skill to achieve it. If someone has achieved something, they've gone out, they've researched, and they've looked into how they can achieve it, and then they've achieved it. And if they can do that, that's 1/2 of successes. Now, in the podcast, I did mention that a lot of people have that one, and you see them on social media, and they look, successful. You see them on social media and it's like, they live in such a fantastic life, they're so successful, they've got, this big fan base and everything. But if they don't have number 2, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, an incredible sad story, Avicii for one. He went out there, the music artist, he wanted to conquer the music industry, right? He wanted a massive fan base, he just wanted to make great music and everyone to love it. He did that, but he killed himself. Why? Because number 2, he didn't have the art of fulfillment. You need to be fulfilled in your life. So many people out there, if you're listening to this podcast and you're looking at people on social media who look like they've got successes, don't just assume that they have. Don't be jealous and don't follow in their footsteps. Because if they don't have number 2, the art of fulfillment, they're not going to live a satisfied life. Avicii, he would have had millions of pounds. He would have been so successful, bless him. But he didn't have the art of fulfillment. So if you're aware that you need the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment to live a happy and satisfied life, if you master those 2 things, you've got a really, really, really bright future ahead of you.
That's really good advice. I totally agree as well. So, where do you see yourself taking this in the future?
Just helping people. If I can help one person, fantastic. Maybe then the next month I help 5 people, and then 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. Just to grow. I really always want to help as many people as I can possibly. Yeah.
So that's your sense of achievement, then, basically.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I always say that in order to become successful, you're not truly successful until you can give something back.
Definitely.
And that's where I want to be as well.
Yeah.
I want to be, I'm going to know that I'm truly successful when I know that I can give something back,
definitely.
because that feeling of giving is, I guess, close to your number 2.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
you've got the skill. You've got the skill that other people would love, and I think if you've been blessed with this skill, it would be selfish if you went to the graveyard and didn't pass that on.
Exactly that.
If you passed away and you had a talent and you didn't pass it on, it's selfish and it's a waste.
Definitely.
Make use of your skill, 100%. And when people think, what can I do in this life? I'm not really successful. You've got a skill out there.
Of course.
You've 110% got a skill. Take time to think about what your skill is. Take a lot of time to think about it. Really think, what is my superpower? What can I add to this world? And once you've got that, go after it and teach people. Don't think about money. Money is the byproduct. Just go out and just think, how can I help people?
I think that's absolutely fantastic advice.
Yeah, great.
And a good place
great.
to end.
Cool.
Neil, thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you.